You've heard it said, I'm sure at some point in your life, that wisdom is wasted on the aged. I'm beginning to really understand that statement, and has everything to do with me being 60, but it also has me to understanding at this stage of my life the things I could have listened to and learned as far back as my 20s. You tend to repeat life lessons if you don't learn them the first time around. And trust me when I tell you, they get harder and harder and harder to digest, to ingest, and to, forgive the expression, regurgitate to someone else. Most of us don't want to teach the life lessons we've learned because we're too embarrassed to tell people what we've actually been through. I don't have that problem. So here goes. I can remember when I was 20 something and I was just starting out in the world and experiencing life that I never got to experience in my teen years because I had lived a pretty chaste life. And I remember thinking, I don't like this. There was a lot of things. Let's just put under the heading, I didn't like a lot of the things that most people were living for. But I kept doing them because I wanted company. I also knew that at some point I was going to have to leave all of that behind. But I stayed longer at the party than I should have because what do I do with my time? What do I do with myself when I leave all of that behind? And I was right. I spent a lot of time alone because there's not a lot of parties thrown for people who want to stay sober. There's not a lot of parties thrown for people who are staying chaste. Let's just face it. This world wants you to indulge in all of its wares and all of its sugars and candies, and you can do that for the longest time and think you're doing something special. If you get to your old age healthy, obviously alive, you'll remember that you could have detoured a lot of those things early on, and you didn't. And now here you stand. So I'm asking you to not necessarily pay attention to what others are doing, but pay attention to what's going on in your own heart. When you know what you know and you're ready for a change, there's no reason for you not to make that change. The fact that you won't make the change is going to haunt you for the rest of your adult life. I promise you it will. So here's this particular wisdom from the age. Don't let your pride and your sense of being alone or fear of being alone and your sense of needing to be more important than maybe you are keep you at a party longer than you should be. You know what that particular party is. You know what you've already kind of soured on, but you're still doing it. Why is that? What do you expect to get different from that excursion that you haven't already experienced? All I know is if you don't be about the business of who you really are, the only one that's going to suffer for it is you. Others can't miss what hasn't been created, but you will always know you had the ability to create something better, different, other, and you just stayed too long at the party.